You click this video probably because you are interested in taking architecture as your course. So I'm assuming you're a high school student or someone who is just curious about what architecture school is. And so I made a guide for you, the Creative School made a guide for you regarding how to be a creative architect in the Philippines series. And this is episode 1, Preparation for Architecture School. How to be a creative architect in the Philippines. Let's get into the video. The Creative School made this video for people who are interested into taking this path, the architecture course in the Philippines specifically. So kung mga Pilipino kayo, this might help you. First of all, definitely if you're still a high school student or probably a parent who is wondering ano nga ba ang pinaka general information regarding an architecture school, and this might be helpful to you. So ang goal ng episode na to, okay, we have 4 goals for this episode. First is to choose the right school. Not really choosing the best school, but rather choosing what fits for you. Because definitely there's a lot of barriers for entry of each school. Second is understanding requirements and tools, no? Because architecture is a creative school. We create a lot of things. It's a combination of a lot of things from drawing, may mathematics, may presentation, may collaboration with other people. And so we will need some tools in terms of presentation and some things. Third is developing the mindset needed for survival. And yes, I want to highlight the word survival because if you're not ready, if you're not mentally prepared for this or even physically prepared, kumbaga parang you're trying to survive this course. Pero I must say, this is a very fulfilling course. Once you finished a plate or a project, grab yung fulfillment on the end of this. And last but not the least is discover what it really means to be creative in architecture or creativity in general. So chapter 1 is choosing the right school. I'm not aiming always for the best school, but what is right for you? What is the definition of a right school for you? Is it cheap? Is it something to do with more on the technical side or more on this? Kasi there's a lot of, again, barriers for entry into different schools or universities here in the Philippines. No? So chapter 1, again, you will learn in this chapter is a general idea about the following. Architectural schools in the Philippines, and there's 2 categories that we planned on, private and public. Second, entrance exams, and all possibly majority of schools, lahat kasi siya may entrance exams. Not all, but majority of it. Third is, I guess, one of the very important things is the tuition range, the financial aspect of these things. Last but not the least is subjects and what to expect. We won't be diving into these topics into a very specific manner, but just a general idea. So, some architectural schools in the Philippines. This is only some of the mga more common or let's say more famous compared to other schools. So, I won't be tackling each one of these. You can screenshot this and to check on your own research. Again, I won't be bombarding you with too much information. Rather, gusto ko lang daanan natin or you have an idea of it. Now, I want you to do some of the things, take action by learning about these things. Pero yun, first is UP Diliman, it's a public school. It's in QC and majority of these schools are in QC, Manila, those areas. No? So, University of Santo Tomas, wherein I graduated from. So, meron akong bias towards it. And sa Manila siya. You have PUP or Polytechnic University, Mapua. Majority of my friends are there. They graduated there as well. Private siya and public yung PUP. We have CSB or College of St. Benilde, University of San Carlos, and then other schools na I can't really explain all of it. TIP, FEU, NU, and other schools. Next is entrance exams. This is just a sample overview. Again, there's a lot more schools. I'm not having bias on this one except for UST. Pero yun, majority of the schools, universities or colleges have entrance exams on their ends. Siyempre, para to filter down who's gonna go in and who won't be entering kasi they have qualities to maintain. No? So, UP, they have UPCAT or University of the Philippines College Admission Test. And I will be sharing mine when I took entrance exam ko sa UST or sa USTET. So I graduated there 2021. And to be honest, I did not pass. Ang tinake ko dyan is, my first choice is architecture definitely, and second is civil engineering because my dad wanted me to be an engineer rather. He was trying to persuade me to take that. So what happened was, I did not pass it. I was only waitlisted. So nagkaroon kami ng drawing exam for those people who are waitlisted and who are willing to wait pag may mga nag-back out dun sa nakakuha ng top 1 choice nila, or rather hindi na ako yung top 1 choice nila but rather second, which is probably architecture. So yun, no, luckily I was able to pass the drawing exam. Again, I was into sketching, but no, it was because I was only waitlisted, and hindi lang yun yung main exam, no? Meron tayong UST or a general examination. Then yung grade mo will be checked on if it fits dun sa criteria of being an architecture student, okay? So, these are some of the overview. You can check it out kung ano yung pinakamalapit sa'yo or what you're aiming for, what school you're aiming for. Mapua, CSB, PIP, and other schools that I have been explaining earlier. Ito, very, very important is, I believe, is the estimated tuition per year. This is not specific. I'm giving a range, but at least you can just check it out if you want to check the specific schools that we have. Pero, again, we can separate these into public, private, and private na dalawa. Meron tayong mid-tier and high-end. So, for the public, no, it ranges from 0 pesos or free to 15K. I forgot kung ano ba yung main criteria para maging free ka, pero you can just research it. And we have the private, which costs for about 90,250, and that's per year. The high-end naman is 180 and above. So definitely, again, there are schools who have a lot of maintaining costs depending on sa technical aspects nila, no? Again, these schools are businesses as well. Whatever you can, whatever you're willing to take, no? Yep, ayun yung tuition fee nila per year. And then second is the legal requirements and accredited school. This is chapter 2. This is, everything here is going to be general idea. This might be one of the most boring chapters, pero just bear with me, okay? Okay, so why this matters? You can spend 5 years studying architecture, graduate, and still not be allowed to take the board exam. If you're not familiar with this, board examination is the exam that you will take after you graduated your college, the 5 years, after you finish your 2 years of apprenticeship. And then if you want to be a licensed and registered architect, which means you can fully draw plans, you need first to take the board examinations. And what I'm stating here is there are schools that are not registered or are not recognized by CHED or PRC, wherein if okay naman yun sa'yo, then go ahead, you take those. Pero that will hinder you from being an architect. Minimum legal requirements. So these things are just requirements for a school when you're choosing. Now, graduate from a 5-year architecture program from a CHED accredited institution, and you can always recheck the programs or the architecture schools that you are planning to enroll to, no? Kasi again, sayang naman kapag nag-take ka ng 4-year course and 5-year course and you realize na hindi pala sila accredited or hindi pala siya basically accredited of the government that will allow you to be a licensed architect if that's your real goal. Wherein I suppose that that's your goal, that's why you're watching this video. So make sure you check these first, no? In all aspects, you check something. Don't very over or bombard yourself too much with information. Rather, just make sure you're informed para you know the next steps that you're planning to decide on. And you let your parents know if ever they're the ones who are going to be paying for your tuition. Have some respect naman, kumbaga. If it's you, make sure to inform yourself. If it's your relatives or other people, inform them. So now, 3 things that we need to understand is you cannot apply for the licensure examination. You cannot legally use the title architect if di ka na mag-take ng isang 5-year program na architecture sa isang accredited ng CHED. And you must repeat or transfer from a different school. na is accredited naman ng CHED. So again, you're just wasting time if ever. So again, always verify your target school accreditation before enrolling. Chapter 3 is the tools that you will be needing. Okay, this is one of the most exciting things is buying things, buying something new for something new, a new chapter in your life that's gonna come. So, we will divide this into analog plus digital. Analog meaning mga traditional, digital, modern, bago. So first, why this matters, your tools are your weapons, not to hurt anybody, but in this journey of being an architect, right? Architecture requires both hands-on drawing and digital modeling. That's why we have analog and digital. No? And you will need to invest over the years. Ito yung masasabi ko is architecture will drain you financially. Apart from mentally, physically, and all those stuff. Yung transition mo from baon-baon lang, yung expenses lang with the high school stuff na for lunch and for going outside with your friends is far from what you're gonna be spending in your architecture school. Okay, so this chapter breaks down the essentials from analog to digital tools, including what kind of gaming laptop actually works for architecture use. I'm just stating gaming laptop kasi yung tawag sa market. Pero make sure ang main purpose mo is to use it for architecture. You can do whatever you want. You can game or whatever. Pero make sure the main purpose of you buying that is for your architecture use. Analog tools, first must-haves is T-square. And then make sure you have triangle set, scale ruler. Actually, these are just general ideas. And then HP pencils, technical pens, meron tayong 0.1 to 0.8. And we also have different brands for those as well, like Rotring, Stedler, Needed and vinyl erasers, cutting tools, adhesives, and boards. Some of these are for your scale model. Scale model is where you create miniature version of a building na you will be creating. So these things, make sure pag papasok ka, for example, you got in, don't overbuy or overspend naman muna. Kasi actually, there are some professors that want to have a specific brand and you might overspend kapag ka bumili ka na agad ng lahat ng ito. Rather, I'm just letting you know what are the things that you will be needing. And you might want to inform yourself para saan to mga to, Some are for measuring, some are for definitely for creation, sketching, for modeling, those stuff. So digital tools, architecture becomes more digital over time. As definitely ngayon meron na tayong AI, A lot of things are evolving. But I'm just gonna say something, make sure you stay grounded and have the foundations of architecture. Make sure you still know how to at least draw, not be good in drawing, not be very, very talented. If you are talented, that's good. But at least you know the basics and fundamentals, creating a line, creating a floor plan, being able to sketch. Kasi in the future, you will be using this no matter what the era is. I guarantee that. Kahit na lumilipad na yung mga kotse, make sure you still know how to at least sketch or to communicate visually. And so again, going back to it, a gaming laptop is a smart investment. Pero I'll be sharing something as well na ang lifespan ng isang gaming laptop is 4 to 5 years, especially if you take care of it. So this is just, you can just take a screenshot of this one. This is just my recommended laptop specs. Up to you still depending on what your budget is. So sometimes, from what I remember, it ranges from parang 35 or rather yung mga good specs na ganito is parang 40 and above, 40k and above. So yun, these things matter because of the architecture softwares that you will eventually use. I have 4 categories for the softwares that we're gonna use moving forward in your architecture course. And hold up, if you are getting overwhelmed right now, take a breather first and understand na these are just a general overview of what you will be needing. Di mo naman siya kailangan lahat-lahat ng isang bagsakan. Don't overspend too much. Make sure you plan out things first. Or ito lang, para magkaroon ka ng preparation on these things. So first is drafting in BIM or Building Information Modeling. Examples of these are AutoCAD, Revit, ArchiCAD. Not sure if you're familiar with that softwares or with those softwares. If you're not, feel free to research sa YouTube, sobrang daming tutorials or even overview of those softwares. Categories, 3D modeling. We have SketchUp, Rhino, Blender, and other modeling softwares. Third is rendering. One of the things that attracts us in this course is being able to render nice, no? Lumion, Twinmotion, D5 Render, Enscape. And rendering is not just a digital, okay? You can render with the analog by using your coloring materials, your markers. It's just basically adding, not really a color, but finalizing a certain presentation on what your intent is. May it be realistic. I can render a realistic something depending on the software or the material that I will be using. I can render something if I want a cartoonish type of render, if I can use analog or traditional materials. Last but not the least is graphics. Yun yung mga for Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. And actually, just a tip, if you can or if you're able to buy a gaming laptop, a tablet also, you can invest right now and to practice these things as early as you are in high school, no? That will give you a solid edge when you get in. Although it's not a competition, just for the sake of you learning and being able to present better in the future. Chapter 4, or second to the last, is expect the worst and hope for the best. And I don't want to scare you out, pero just a nudge, kumbaga, no? Why this matters? Because some people go with the spectrum of pagdating sa architecture, I should be good in drawing or I should be good in math. Pero both of those things are not enough. Okay? Rather, architecture school tests your patience, discipline, and emotional endurance. So these things are not to be normalized by us, but rather, I'll be honest and say that these things are really common in the architecture school, university, college phase. No? Para when these things happens, pwede mo silang maiwasan, or you can be prepared when these things happen. No? For example, no sleep. There will be times talaga you won't be able to sleep only if you're not prepared. Kasi plates will come and plates will take your time too much, no? Kasi when you get in, freshman ka ngayon, you will be enticed to do a lot of things. Kumbaga yung novelty. When things are new, you want to try everything. Which is, I won't be stopping you from that one. Pero I'm here to let you know that you have responsibilities. So make sure you focus on what matters first, no? Para hindi ka mapadala sa no sleep mo. So design deadlines often mean overnight work. But not only that one, okay? It's probably the lack of time management. If you focus first of enjoying, going out first, tapos meron ka talagang plates and deadlines, which is a part of you growing and part of being an architect, yun yung mako-compromise. And if syempre, you would need to work on those, ang pinaka-mako-compromise is yourself. No, you won't be able to sleep. So enjoy, definitely, pero have some accountability and responsibility, and have some time management. Third, critiques hurt. Okay? Your work will be judged often, and so learn not to take it personally. Since you present something that is with aesthetics, with function, with form, and all those things, people will have a say on it. If you want, you will have a Discord community. Just comment down below if you're interested. Just comment, say, I am interested. I'll be creating a Discord community that you can have critique sessions. Kasi again, if you're not used to getting critique on by people, everything that they say, parang tatanggapin mo sila personally or subjectively na parang nananakit ata to parang sobra-sobra ka ata magsalita Pero sometimes it's just based on the work, no? The penmanship, the scribbles, the lines, it's shaky, the planning doesn't make sense, and so you need to get used to it. So we will be having the Creative School community, the third community that I will be creating. And again, if you're interested, let me know so you will get used to it and get better as you turn into a creative architecture student. Third, this is not just a drawing. You will study math, history, philosophy, science, and other branches. Again, this is not just math and drawing. There's a lot more things to do. Fourth, collaboration is key. If you prefer doing things on your own, that's good kasi there will be things that will require you to isolate yourself from. Pero architecture is not only that. Okay, even in the future, once you turn to be an architect, God willing, you're still collaborating with your client. No, you're still communicating with them. So try not to get rid or to excuse yourself from collaborating with other people. Many projects can be done solo, but many are group-based as well. So it's a prioritization of how you handle things. Last but not the least, that I think is things will be done sometimes in long process, sometimes short. But I want to focus on the long process kasi I believe majority of the people now are having a short attention span. We try to lose focus on things now, especially with how social media is designed, and we are overexposed in those things, thus it affects us. No, so one project can take weeks or months, and if hindi mo kaya yon, if you cannot commit, I'll apply it to everything. No, pero syempre I'll focus with your plates. If you cannot commit with one thing, mahirap yun. If you cannot commit with one person, mahirap din yun. So only commit. There's going to be may parang boring times with your projects. No, parang same shit again. Ito na naman. Same project, same residential, wala bang bago. Just learn how to stick with it, and trust me, pag natapos yung project, everything's going to be rewarding and fulfilling. Chapter 5. Means to be creative. And this is the last one. Okay? If you're over bombarded with information, take a break. Walk away from the screen, then get back and finish this video. And it's not just a skill. Rather, it can be also a way of thinking or a mindset. For me, why this matters? Creativity is not only for the naturally gifted or even for people who are talented. No, get rid of that mindset kasi I used to have one. To be honest, I'm not really a smart or naturally gifted student. Growing up, lagi ako line of 7, laging pasado. And whenever people around me parang show na parang ganyan ka lang, it affects you growing up, no? Parang I'm not gonna try anymore since ganito lang pala ako. Pero no, I would like to let you know that have some growth mindset, no? Habang may pagkakataon, try to work on things. Have some belief in yourself, have some faith in all aspects, no? Have faith, and then apply it through action, no? There's a verse actually in the Bible. I would like to have a segue. Not really sure about the verse, pero faith without work is a dead faith. So same goes with this one. Make sure you take action and to have some mindset towards those things, no? Believe na I can learn more, create more. So in architecture, creativity is trainable and necessary skill for solving human problems with design. And creativity in architecture, designing solutions for real-life problems, not just making things look good. I would like you to get rid of that notion. Definitely, it what attracts people, no? Kung gaano siya kaganda tignan from afar. Even applying it to relationships, no? Sometimes people are just blinded with how another person looks good, nice, pretty, handsome. Pero there's a lot of things that should be considered more than what attracts us. No, we can get rid of the form now. So there's function, context, culture. In application of relationship, no, there's values. How do they treat their parents? How do they treat other people around them? Do they take care of themselves? No? Do they lie? Do they tell me the truth despite hurting me? Or do they try to be as gentle as possible? Those things. No? So going back to architecture, when you try to focus on those things, wag lang sa ganda. Make sure you have the function para saan pa tong building na to. Okay? Who am I catering for? The context of the or the culture. No, the culture or the community around the building that I'm forming, does it make sense? Am I making a bahay kubo around a sci-fi or like a very parang cityscape type? Or what is my main purpose of it? Is it to show something? No, those things. Working with constraints, budget, climate, materials, and time. And creativity will actually be tested more kapag you are in constraint of those things. Kasi if you work with real clients, you will realize how much hard it is. Kasi in architecture school, you're just bounded by the problem, no? The problem dun sa paper. Pero there's a lot more nuance to it. Parang yung oras ng client. Every when should I present? What is the budget of the client? I need to be able to make money so I can continue doing this one. There's a lot of things. Creativity is not just being able to do what passion is, to be honest. And we can tackle on that some other video. So how to develop creativity even if you don't feel creative yet. Take action first before having the mindset. And then, so we have these things na personally I want to share to you. First is start with observation, no? Study how people move, live, and behave in spaces. Get rid of the phones. I know na We cannot do that as often as we can, pero try to force yourself to just check out other people for the sake of observing them for this architecture course, okay? Not to spy on people or to be very creepy. Pero observe, no? How do they walk? How do children play around on a big space or even on a tight space? No, you see a couple on a tight space, what are they doing? On a public space, what are they doing? Definitely you won't be able to cater everyone, but just observe. And then when you observe, ask why often, not all the time, not never, but often. Have some curiosity in your mind and ask, ba't nga ba siya ganito? Ba't ganito yung design ng ganito? Sometimes, no, one tip that I would like to share also is when you're trying to think of something big, paliitin mo. When you observe, again, we're talking about architecture of buildings and we're talking about design. Why do they have big windows in here? You can put it on human beings. No, kasi, for me, I believe in intentional design. I believe in one big designer. These things are, kung paano tayo nagawa. I believe, for example, eyebrows or the eyes, no? The hair, sweat glands, voice, ears, no? It has a design. How we move, how we talk, how we laugh, all those things make sense if you just try to observe and ask why sometimes. And sometimes you won't be getting answers right away. But sooner or later, as you progress into take action, as long as you have the curiosity in your mind, not really forcing it na parang gusto ko na agad siyang malaman, sooner or later you will realize why. And sometimes it's also nice to let things be pagka hindi mo siya malaman kung bakit. Third, practice sketch daily. It's one of my biases, no? I like to sketch kasi it's one of the things that help me visualize things. Okay, so there's been a technical error. And shout out to my editor Clint for letting me know what areas have I missed and we should be tackling regarding the practice sketching daily. Okay, we were talking about means to be creative. So ito yung may pinaka-bias ako because I really love to sketch, no? When I was younger, I was sketching before and it helped me to visualize things, no, without the use of technical softwares or other stuff na I need to make it load or turn on my laptop. Sometimes, because definitely the ideas come into our brains before we try to put it into our softwares or other things. Sometimes it's nice to have the own idea on your own. For example, by observing other things, no? You started observation, and from there, you can think of applying those things that you have observed to your own project. Then you can apply it through sketching, different iterations. And now, of course, it's definitely slower compared to AI or SketchUp modeling or BIM models. But then again, if you're talking about being creative and knowing how to create, no, this is actually one of the things that for me is very, very valuable. So practice sketching daily. Again, it helps you think visually and improves confidence. Definitely, for sure, with a lot of things, everything can be improved on. So if you're gonna come into your first year of architecture school, probably you might not be that good, but always don't give up, no? Always apply things in effort, always have the growth mindset. So fourth is solve with limited tools. This is what I've said before about being creative as well, na things or a certain project that needs for someone or the team to be creative has also a big involvement of having limited things, no? Because if, for example, your client has unlimited budget, for me, in my own opinion, the creativity there is a bit limited. But then, when the budget is limited, more creativity comes in place. No? You really think about what can I do to fit the things that I need to be able to build this thing. What materials should I use? No? And then last two is combining opposites and then reflect and iterate. Combine opposites, for me, it's a way to like another freeze for contrast. No? I really love contrast in terms of black and white. Big and small, no? Traditional plus modern or heavy plus light. Minimal plus vernacular. And sometimes when you think about this, it's really by adding certain things that are already existing. No? Since past is traditional, currently we have the modern or probably, let's say, futuristic. And there's some architects that do apply those things together how can we merge these things and to create something new, right? And of course, last but not the least is by reflecting and iteration. No, don't aim for perfect, aim for better than your last draft. It's even sometimes said to ourselves, for example, by improving ourselves, no? Don't compare yourselves to other people from what you see on social media. Rather, improve yourself kasi yun yung pinaka-peak mo on where you have been, on what is your capability, what is your ability. And then from there, we try to think of the ways, how can I improve the things that are my strength and how can I improve my weaknesses. No? So on this thing, can iterate based on the things that you sketch or the things that you've done before, your past plates, how you do things. Am I hurrying so much? Masyado ba ako nagmamadali? Do I have priorities or none? And so in conclusion, I think these things that we have just talked about, for me, are some things that are valuable in terms of picking something. Kasi again, before, I wasn't really interested in architecture. And since moving forward as year passes by, I gradually fell in love with it, architecture. And sometimes whenever I think about it, I think it's nicer kung napag-research ako on some things. But I'm of course definitely grateful for where am I. And so these things, no, the things that we have discussed should be at least your guide. I don't think that you should know everything. Kasi sometimes, again, there's a thing called analysis paralysis wherein you think so much that you can't even take an action. And I think that's the worst case scenario of really overloading ourselves with information. And so for the next video, we are going to be talking about completing your architecture degree. This still could be helpful for you and also for the people who are probably stuck in their architecture course. And so, just like always, focus on what matters, and I will be seeing you at the next video. If this video has been helpful to you, it wouldn't hurt to at least comment down below and make the Patreon community grow as well. Let's have an involvement with one another, and I would like to also see you in the Discord community. Peace.